as their dad was over 1,000 pounds, and feeding Margaret would have had to be eating 20 to 30,000 calories every single day. If at 750 pounds.
Hey YouTube, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. Today we are reacting to Big Craig, and we are reacting to the 600-pound life star who refused to grow up. Get your snack, get your drink, and let's go ahead and let's fucking watch, chat.
After being fed over 30,000 calories a day by her overbearing mother and ending up weighing over 750 pounds, Margaret has one of the craziest stories on My 600 Pound Life and features one of the most dysfunctional and toxic mother-daughter dynamics I've ever seen. However, Margaret's story starts out a bit differently, as she doesn't actually choose to take part in the show, but rather is forced into it against her own free will, and her attitude.
That the fuck right there, she's not gonna change. She's not gonna change, she's not gonna change, she's not gonna change. Listen, chat, one thing. Let talk to you, bro. Let auntie talk to you, bro. People who don't want to change, you can't change them, gang. Don't waste your time. Don't do it, bro. If someone doesn't want to change, what the fuck makes you think you gonna change them? You think you can fix them? Fix her? No, bitch, you can't. The fuck? Like, don't. Alright, we just started, bro. We just started.
Throughout shows. This is because Margaret had a pretty bad fall and ends up hospitalized at Dr. Now's facility, as the original hospital she went to didn't have the capability to look after a patient of her size.
Damn.
She's one of the heaviest patients ever on the show, believing that she weighs over 750 pounds in the beginning, but in reality this could be even higher, as she hasn't been able to weigh herself in years. To make matters worse, the last time Margaret got out of bed was 6 months ago, meaning that she's likely gained even more weight in the past few months as she become immobile, and her body is burning even less calories than before. To understand how she got to her size, Dr. Now has to do some digging. With Margaret now immobile, someone had to be bringing her the food, because it's not like she can get up and walk around to get it.
Who takes care of you at home?
My mom.
So your mom has any weight problem?
She had the gastric bypass.
So she had gastric bypass. Why is she providing you too much food and keep you at this weight?
Because it's easier not to fight me.
Learning that Margaret's mother brings her food because she doesn't want to fight her is honestly pretty disappointing, and something we see far too often on the show. And to be honest, I find it personally hard to understand the logic to begin with. Her mother should want the best for her daughter, like being able to live independently and have a healthy lifestyle. But instead, she feeds her enormous amounts of food all throughout the day. And as we'll come to see, her mother is actually quite nasty about her size too. To not only maintain her size, but gain additional weight, Margaret would have had to be eating 20 to 30,000 calories every single day, if not more. This is more food than the average person should be eating in 1 week, let alone 1 day. This, but Margaret's mother also had a gastric bypass herself, meaning that she was considerably overweight and should know the risks associated with the morbid obesity. If she knows this, then why on earth is she continuing to feed her daughter this way? The worst part about all of this is the fact that Margaret wasn't even considering to begin losing weight and was only brought to the hospital because of the fall. But it might have actually been the best thing that happened to her, as it may finally be the first step towards a healthier weight and lifestyle. Now, you must be wondering how she got here, and Margaret reveals some of the causes for her food obsession, and it's honestly quite heartbreaking.
I've had abusive life.
What do you mean, abusive by your parents or your family or who?
My family, especially my dad.
I see. So you ate to deal with that?
Yes. Food's my comfort. I can hide underneath it, and nobody knows what's going on in my life.
During her time in the hospital, Margaret comes...
Chat, this is why, like, if you're trying to work on yourself, bro, with whatever the fuck it is, from addiction to, I don't fucking know. If the shoe fits, Cinderella, the shoe fits. To heal, you gotta feel uncomfortable every time. You gotta feel those emotions you don't want to feel. You want to feel those emotions that you try to bury. You gotta feel those emotions you've been trying to ignore, that you've just been sweeping underneath the rug. You gotta face that, and you gotta work on that and heal from that, from those trauma, to better yourself. That's truly.
To realize that she's shockingly close to death, as her body is just struggling to cope at her size. She claims she wants to change and would like to have the weight loss surgery, But the
Yeah.
reality is she's done nothing so far to show that she wants to change.
Margaret, you be 129. 129 is very high BMI, okay? So this is very dangerous situation you're in. So you have to change your life and you have to try harder, okay? While you're here, we can control your eating habit, but when you go home, you're gonna be on your own. And this is gonna be the test for you. If you go home and you're not able to change your eating habit, there's nothing we can do for you, okay?
Right.
So I'm gonna give you some instruction I want you to read. It will break down what you can eat and cannot eat to do the diet and what healthy eating is. So you need to follow it to where you have some meaningful changes on your eating habit that's gonna show on your scale, okay? All right.
The situation is deeply pathological, as Margaret has never seriously attempted weight loss before and doesn't exactly have the best support with her. Her mother is an enabler, meaning that she's the main person who is directly impacting Margaret's weight gain, as she's the one bringing her the food. Margaret is always giving in to her cravings, never denying herself anything, always saying yes to an additional serving or a sweet treat. This will be the biggest challenge of her life, learning to limit her intake and just to say no to extra food. Margaret's physical condition at the time of arriving at the hospital was so severe that she had to stay for an extra 2 weeks. And during this time, she actually lost 30 pounds in just a few days. When people are this morbidly obese, like Margaret at 750 pounds, being placed on a 1,200 calorie diet makes the weight fall off very quickly, as the body just isn't getting the same amount of intake as it was before. This is because morbidly obese individuals often experience faster initial weight loss due to factors like a higher resting metabolic rate, which is just the amount of calories that they need to maintain their size, and they have a large amount of fat to burn. By the end of her hospital stay, Margaret has lost an incredible amount of weight in such a short time.
While she's been here, we had her on a controlled diet. And in 2 weeks, we have been able to get her weight down 67 pounds from when she arrived. She was 752, now she's at 685. So we have made some progress on that front with her. And we have also been providing her physical therapy to help her get up and walk. She pushed back some, but overall she's doing well. And we have her moving in the right direction now. So the next step is for her to show me she can do this on her own if she wants to continue. Hopefully Margaret and her mom Millie are as serious as they are telling me, because they both need to make a lot of changes if Margaret is going to have any chance of success in the long term.
To continue the weight loss at home,
Yeah, I don't really fuck with her, but it's like, I hope she do lose the weight. Like, she has to, or she's at the brink of death. Like, it's just so scary. Like, I can never imagine myself being that big. So it's like, it's hard to comprehend how she's feeling, but I really do hope that she lost the weight though.
Margaret is placed on the same diet and given a goal of 30 pounds weight loss each month, with a goal to lose 100 pounds over the course of 3 months. Margaret's life growing up is quite similar to how it is today, as she's always been obsessed with food for as long as she can remember. She also reveals that her and her sisters never had much food when they were young, as their dad was over 1,000 pounds, and feeding him first was her mother's priority. This meant that the children often went hungry and didn't get enough to eat, forced to eat his scraps, as he would eat an enormous amount of food.
And if he said, you'd be right here, she had to be right there. That's how he was. You want to hide your feelings away from him. Because if you argued with him, then he would call us names and just be very mean. So I learned to sneak into the kitchen. And I ate his food to get back at him. When I ate my dad's food, it was for revenge. So he wouldn't have it for himself.
She'd get up in the middle of the night. If we had something left over in the icebox, she'd go in there and she would make it look like she didn't eat it, but she did eat it.
That's how I got to 120 pounds by the time I was 6. That's when
120 pounds by 6? Bro, I think around them fucking age, I was probably like, for a long ass time, bitch, even I think before high school, I was in the 90s. Only hit over 100 pounds like 4 times.
I was diagnosed with early signs of diabetes and an eating disorder.
As Margaret piled on the weight quickly from her binge eating, Millie, Margaret's mother, became concerned that this would start to negatively impact her health. especially given the diabetes diagnosis. So she put Margaret on a diet and she started to lose weight, but
She
this took a
should.
turn for the worse, as it took Millie's attention away from her dad, causing him to have massive outbursts. To get the children away from the conflict, Millie sent them to her father's parents' house, where unfortunately the abuse continued to get even worse. Her grandmother would force Margaret to eat large amounts of food as punishment.
What?
An unfortunately common theme of abuse with stars on the show. Millie eventually found out about the abuse and sent the children to live with her sister instead. And finally, she enjoyed her time living at her auntie's house, as this meant she could eat whatever she wanted without being punished or made fun of. However, this quickly escalated to the point where Margaret was pushing 300 pounds at 15 years old. Margaret had no friends by the time she finished high school and was unable to get a job because of her weight. And by the time she was 20, she was pushing 500 pounds. This
God
meant that
damn.
everyday tasks were just a massive challenge for her, like driving and chores around the house. Unable to work, Margaret applied for disability payments and just decided to give up.
She would just sit there and urinate on herself, and that's pretty much where she stayed. I mean, she was always a lonely child to begin with, and now she was being alienated and thinking, Mama don't love me, she's abandoned me. That's self-destruct.
Things just continued to go on a downward spiral, and before she knew it, Margaret was £750 and completely dependent on Millie for absolutely everything. Her first day back from the hospital doesn't go very well either, as she starts with an excuse as to why she can't do any exercises with a new PT that Dr. Now sent to her. In a very strange encounter, Millie is extremely rude to the PTs, barely opening up the door to explain to them why Margaret doesn't want to do the session.
It's just been tough. I mean, it's been tough. I can't tell you how many times a week she tells me she quits.
Dr. Now, he needs you to get up because of the blood clot and everything else. You already have a history of DVT.
Yeah, I know, but they keep pushing on you and they keep pushing on me. I'm sick of it.
You're not doing
That's
that.
crazy.
I told you I'd reschedule.
Well, just leave me alone, Mom.
No, I'm not.
I'm assuming that was her mom.
It's all about what you want.
Okay, fine, I quit. You want that?
I told you I'd call you next week and we could reschedule.
Okay, I don't know how quickly we'll be able to get scheduled next week because we really moved things around to see her. There's not any way she'll do any PT today to make sure that she can get scheduled for surgery.
Eventually, after reconsidering, Margaret consents to meet with the PTs for her session. It's worth noting here that completing these sessions with PTs is essential for weight loss surgery, something that Margaret was desperate for, yet she isn't really pushing herself to complete the first session.
Why
They're
she
nice
make
people,
it?
and they got my best interest at heart. So they can come back on the right day, and we can work together some more. That will be good when we do that. In the meantime, I'll do more on my own and with my mama.
All right. It was good working with you, and we will hopefully see you soon.
From the session with the PTs,
That's
we learned that the
crazy, bro.
only
Why she
pain Margaret
naked?
has with her mobility is her knees when she walks. She doesn't have any pain or any other issues elsewhere in her body. This means that there's plenty of other opportunity to work out, like the shoulders, arms, chest, or back. But let's see if Margaret will continue to do this, or if she will give up like she's pretty much doing already. In an effort to get her to walk, Millie encourages Margaret to just take a few steps on her walk.
God damn, this is
It'll be worth it. Is this not what we wanted for 7 years?
Things quickly get heated when Margaret eventually gives up, claiming it's too hard and she's in too much pain. Now, it's no doubt that it is painful for her. Carrying around 600 pounds with you puts an enormous strain on your body. But Margaret can barely last a few seconds, let alone a few minutes, without turning negative.
I'm done.
I just want you to walk one more time and then back.
I'm done. This is where you get me right now.
Get over this. I feel sorry for Margaret.
Mama, shut
No,
the hell
I'm
up.
not. It is very important that he sees you're moving. I've let you get away with this way too long. Now it's time to get up. Now come on!
Why are you pushing me?
Because I am. I'm gonna run go get my clothes on.
You shouldn't give up so fast. Like, that's just the shit that I guess I just naturally grown to, like, have a pet peeve against. Yes, there have been times where I was on that side. I had those shoes on. But now I'm different. But don't fucking give up, man. Like, at least try. And when I say try, I mean, like, genuinely try. Like, not just, oh, I tried and gave up. No, I mean, like, genuinely, like, try to take that first step. The first step is always fucking difficult. It's never going to be easy. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that the first step of course, it's gonna be the hardest. But once you got that first step, that walk, that jog, that run, it's gonna be completely easy. Take care of your mentals. Just take care of yourself, man. So take care of yourself while you can and heal, man. Heal from the trauma. Like, it's, like, fuck.
According to month 3, Margaret should have lost £100, but after Millie can't take her to her appointment, they have to do a video call instead, which means that she won't be able to get weighed and see the physical progress there on the scale. It's also not a very good excuse, as Margaret has had this appointment booked for months, and could have told Millie she would be needing transport to the hospital. It seems to me like this is the perfect excuse not to go, as it's likely she knows she hasn't lost any weight at all.
You haven't been cooperating with them most days.
No, that's not it. They haven't been coming consistently for physical therapy.
They have, but you turned them away a lot of times.
Now, it's absolutely shocking to hear that Margaret has been turning the PTs away, when she's previously stated that they haven't been bothering to come round. Dr. Now is really concerned that Margaret is just completely wasting his time, and needs to see her in person to examine her, and most importantly, check she's actually lost any weight at all.
I don't have a ride.
Margaret, you can use Metrolift.
I've not heard nothing about Metrolift.
Despite all of his efforts, Margaret still refused to go, so they ended up rescheduling the appointment for a month later. Now, me personally, I don't understand how Dr. Now has this much time for patients who are just completely wasting his time. If this was me, I'd probably be a bit more brutal and just kick them off the program early. But Dr. Now isn't as brutal as me, and Margaret does make it to the hospital. The last time she was at the she weighed 685 pounds, a big loss from her initial weight of over 750. At the clinic, Margaret surprisingly lost 53 pounds, making her new weight 632 pounds.
Okay.
This is a total weight loss of 120 since starting the treatment. A massive achievement for Margaret.
Hey, let's hope
Even though the
she keep
majority
it
of the weight
going.
was lost while she was at hospital, it is good to see that she's continued to lose weight at home, which honestly is surprising considering she seemed like she wasn't very motivated and kept turning the PTs away. Dr. Now's next steps for Margaret are to start psychotherapy, continue sessions with the PT, and most importantly, start walking more. If she can accomplish all of these tasks, then Margaret will qualify for weight loss surgery. Hearing that she's so close to weight loss surgery is a game changer for Margaret, and she honestly gets quite emotional.
To do weight loss surgery, then we're gonna approve you for that. But all those things, okay?
I really did hope, man. Ugh.
You just made her day. I told her we left all the Debbie Downers and we were gonna get this. Not the same girl you met back in the hospital, is it? You got it.
I really do hope that she heals from her trauma, man.
We've tried this so many times.
to give you a kiss. You were my godsend.
You're gonna be one of her first dance partners after she gets down to where she can stand up and walk.
You're my godsend.
Well, I'm proud of the progress, and if you keep it up, we can get you to weight loss surgery safely and make sure that everything's gonna be all right for you.
A month later, Margaret should be in a position where she's ready for surgery. She's been seeing her PT and started to walk more, although she still does use a wheelchair for the most part. But unfortunately for Margaret, she got far too excited far too soon, as it's clear her exercise sessions with the PT weren't enough to shift the weight, as she's only lost 5 pounds in the time since her last appointment, bringing her weight down to 626 pounds. Dr. Now clearly isn't impressed, and an argument between him and the pair quickly ensues.
Both of you went back to your old habits.
We don't know what we did wrong. She's still eating the same way. I mean, yesterday she didn't
hold on right there, okay?
Overeating.
Just hold on. And like you don't know what is going on, there's a simple math. You're eating too much, you're not gonna lose weight. Which part of this is very hard to understand, that she's eating at least 4 times of what she should be eating. So why are we overeating and playing like we don't know what's going on?
But she didn't overeat. She's still eating.
You want to argue that with the scale? Don't argue with me.
But she
you argue
didn't
that with the
overeat.
scale.
She couldn't overeat. I gave her proportioned
overate
meals,
behind your back.
and it's the same as I've always given her. Is she quit eating the vinaigrette and ate honey mustard dressing.
She eat a gallon of honey mustard?
Now I don't know how much she put on her salad.
The 2 cups.
But I can tell you that's the only difference.
So she's gaining from thin air, right?
Well, I don't know how she done it. This is what I know. I'm the one that fixes her meals unless she's getting up when I'm not there.
No, I'm not getting up, and I promise you that. But I don't know.
Did you quit exercising during the
No.
day?
For her to be 600 pounds and keep that 600 pounds, she's eating 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day.
The excuses coming from Millie are pretty ridiculous. She thinks that the only reason Margaret won't have lost weight is because she changed the salad dressing she was having, which clearly can't be responsible for this. There is another option, a more likely reason as to why Margaret hasn't been losing any weight, and that's down to her sneaking food when Millie isn't around. It's definitely a
You see what I mean? You can't change people if they don't want to change.
theory, especially as Margaret has become increasingly more mobile the past few weeks and is able to walk for longer periods of time. Is it really that unlikely that she would have walked to the fridge and took out some snacks for herself? Or do you think that Millie is just overfeeding her? I also think it's strange that Millie tends to overpower Margaret when she talks to the doctor. I feel like if I was doctor now, I'd probably want some one-on-one time with Margaret just to get a real sense of what she's thinking. But anyway.
What I see from Margaret and Millie's choices this past month, elements where Millie tells Margaret positive things and pushes her to keep going and not quit. But those are all cliche. What matters is action. And it is very dangerous when you have a dynamic where someone talks to talk, but doesn't support it with any of the choices they make. I have no doubt that he loves Margaret and wants the best. She talks supportive, then contradict that with her action. So whatever progress they have will be short-lived. And unless they both start that process, we won't be moving ahead with Margaret.
I was disappointed.
Disappointed with not losing the weight, Margaret is ready to give up yet again. Doctor now asks that by her next appointment, she loses 35 pounds. Otherwise, she is going to get kicked off the program, like I said I would earlier.
I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to see the tears. I don't want to see any drama that in here that we don't know what's going on and all these stories that none of it is believable.
Right.
So from here, it is simple. I want you to lose 35 pounds by next month and start seeing psychotherapy. If not, then we are not moving ahead with you.
A week later, Margaret realizes that weight loss surgery is the most important thing in her life right now. So she agrees to see a psychotherapist, even though she is totally against it. The therapist brings up some uncomfortable topics for Margaret, but surprisingly, even more uncomfortable for Millie.
My babies are my world.
Right. She's not a baby.
She's my baby.
She's your baby, and she's 35.
She's still my baby. She'll
Okay.
always be my baby.
You know, the word baby implies a lot of care.
She's my baby. She's the youngest.
I'm a little worried. So yeah, I don't know you very well, Margaret. We just started talking, but I think that's going to be my theme with you is making you not a baby. I think you must believe that the world is a dangerous place.
It is.
And that
I'm scared
We
to
don't
let,
trust nobody.
I don't let nobody in.
and that people will hurt you, right?
They'll hurt me. That's
But
the
when
thing.
you have a trust issue,
I
I
have
have to
trust
say,
issue.
because I'm
They both need fucking help, man. They need like solo fucking help.
there too.
I'm going to push you guys to be a little bit more independent. And
How do you do that?
you practice. I want you guys to practice more and more times of independence for her. And you get to step back and you get to attend to your job and your relationships, and you're always going to be there for her. But you're
Correct.
going to be there for her in a way that's healthy and appropriate for a 35-year-old woman.
So more or less you're saying that I don't need her.
No.
Who the fuck is saying that? No one's saying you don't need them, bro. Everybody need their mama. I can't speak on that matter. Bro, no one's saying that. They're saying more independent. More like stop depending. Oh my gosh. She need a lot of fucking help, man.
No.
The therapist really acknowledges that the relationship between Margaret and Millie is unhealthy. Like we saw earlier, Millie is way too involved in her daughter's life, controlling every aspect of it, mostly due to the fact that Margaret is fully immobile and can't fend for herself. In order to recover, Margaret really needs to increase her level of independence, relying less on her mother to help her through life. The therapist also forced Millie to take accountability for her actions, realizing that she plays a huge part in getting Margaret to her size. But, as expected, Margaret doesn't take this very well and acts, rather ironically, just like a big baby.
Margaret, you will all...
I need to let go of my comfort zone.
He's not saying you need to let go of me.
Let's take the food from her, so that's a comfort zone gone. Okay, now let's take the mother away from her. That's another comfort zone gone. Maybe we'll just keep breaking her and breaking her and breaking her.
Margaret, your mother can be very present.
I'm done. I'm done.
Give me a
I'm
tink.
done.
Give me a tink. I'm always gonna love you. Give me a tink.
Millie, do you notice in this moment that you're jumping in?
Because I know how stressful she is, and it is a meltdown, and she will want to resort to food.
And here's an opportunity, even in this little tiny moment, we're gonna let her have her feelings, because I think she's capable of working through this.
You don't know me.
See the resistance?
Out of my house, just go. Y'all just go. Get out of my house. I'm done.
You can't go nowhere.
He's not saying, Margaret, I have to abandon you.
I'm done.
It's interesting, she's getting up in response to this. Isn't it neat that she's getting out of bed in this? But I want you to notice the urge right now that you have to jump in and comfort her. And
That's my job.
I think of her as a grown-up adult. We've got to let her self-soothe, work on this on her own in order for her to realize that. The solution is to watch
Margaret,
her
do you want your walker?
take care of herself.
Margaret, please do not try to walk without nothing.
Her response to a very simple question regarding her mother is shocking, as she chose to just completely run away from the conversation rather than take accountability. One important point that the therapist points out is that Millie and Margaret are together 100% of the time when they're at home, and even when Millie's at work, they're on the phone together for 7 to 8 hours, pretty much her entire shift. Margaret is completely dependent on Millie for her physical and her emotional needs, and unfortunately, she won't be able to lose the weight on her own if she can't become more independent and start her own life without relying on her mother. A month later, Margaret is back in Dr. Now's office for another weigh-in. If she'd stuck to the program properly, she should be down to under 600 pounds, and surprisingly, she actually does make this, albeit by a thread, with her new weight of 595 pounds bringing her below the 600 pound target. With her goal of a 35 pound weight loss, she makes it pretty close with 31 pounds. Dr. Now is pleased with this, but he still doesn't believe that Margaret is eating what she says she is. According to her and Millie, she's only eating 1 salad a day with no dressing and only drinking water. Now clearly, if this were true, she'd have lost 3 to 4 times the weight she'd lost in the past month, so something clearly isn't adding up. A few weeks later, Margaret is back at the hospital, but this time it's not for a weigh-in. She's been experiencing extreme stomach pain and is admitted to the hospital immediately to find out the cause, as this level of pain is definitely not normal. Not only is this a health issue, but if there's something seriously wrong with Margaret, she may not be able to proceed with the weight loss surgery after all.
She started working with psychotherapy, which was the big step I wanted her to take. So because of all that, and the fact that she hasn't started gaining weight, and she's working with physical therapy off and on now, I'm willing to start the process with her to do weight loss surgery, starting with the testing. She has been complaining of stomach pain recently, so the priority is figuring out what could be causing that and see if there is something we need to address with her before we move ahead with anything. All right, you can turn right up. Okay.
From the endoscopy, Dr. Now finds that she has gallstones, a serious health concern for sure, but nothing that'll get in the way for her weight loss surgery, which Dr. Now confirms that he will actually place her on the official waiting list for.
And since you lost some weight, we're gonna go ahead and put you on the schedule for weight loss surgery.
Don't you teamwork? Come on, give me teamwork. We've been waiting to hear them words, ain't we? Pretty good words right there, ain't it?
I'm glad, man.
Pretty good
I
words.
wish we took more independent.
We got it, Mom.
We got it.
You got it.
We saw it.
We got our surgery.
We got
And
it.
we're there.
A month later, Margaret is finally prepped and ready for surgery.
You got this.
It's been a hard, long month here in the hospital, but I feel really good about all my progress, especially because today I'm getting my weight loss surgery.
I'll be here when you wake up.
It's a really good feeling after everything I've been through.
Well, I have to come back for a wheelchair anyway.
All my trials and tribulations has led me up to this moment.
I know you.
No more crying.
It's a real success as the surgery goes well with no issues and complications. For Margaret, this is a huge step forward and probably the biggest change she's ever made in her entire life. During the course of the program, Margaret has made good progress, although for the most part it has been pretty slow. If she's going to be able to continue the program, which will be for another 18 months before she's down to her goal weight, she'll need to resolve the issues she's facing in her home life in order to make a real change. It's incredibly important that Margaret continues going to therapy to work on her emotional issues, as these are just as important as her physical ones, and closely related to her weight gain, as she binge eats for comfort. If Margaret doesn't see the therapist, it would be very easy for her to slip back into her old habits and start eating again, which would have an incredibly negative effect and honestly dangerous on her weight loss surgery, and it would effectively reverse it. If Margaret continues to take steps in the right direction by seeing the PT, a therapist, and most importantly sticking to her diet, she'll be able to accomplish all of the things she's never had a chance to do. She's never been able to have a job, and she's been on disability since leaving school. She's never been able to drive a car, as soon as she was old enough to learn, she wasn't actually able to fit behind the wheel. Now, Margaret has lived a life behind closed doors, living behind her mother's shadow, and has finally been given the opportunity to make her own decisions. A month after the surgery, Margaret is doing well. She's actually continued to see her therapist and her PT, and if you'd like to see how Margaret got on after a weight loss surgery, let me know in the comments and we can take a look at the Where Are They Now episode. Now, if you want to see some of the biggest enablers like Margaret who have ever featured on the show, make sure you click the video that's on your screen now, and make sure to visit the Fat Loss Kitchen for free.
Alright, chat, we have reached the end of the video. That was something, you know, but hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like it. Drop a sub if you wanna, and I'll see y'all ass in the next one.